Welcome to Reparenting Daily, your free daily guide for inner child healing and repairing the relationship with yourself. This podcast helps you establish a consistent reparenting routine and is divided into 3 sections. The first is the daily reading, the second is a discussion of the reading, followed by suggested journal prompts, and the last section is peaceful binaural beats meditation for closing. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening from whenever and wherever you're joining us. I'm so glad that you could join us on this journey of self-expansion. If this is your first time here, welcome. As a celebration of passing episode 700, I've opened a free membership tier for the Patreon community so you can access additional resources and join the weekly Zoom calls for free. I know there's a lot going on in the world right now and that so many people are really struggling. My hope here is to still encourage others to continue the work on reparenting and to offer a free community where people can come together and do that. I'd also like to thank all of you who've been along on the journey so far. Just as a reminder, this is a free podcast, but you can support the project by purchasing the Reparenting Daily Journal, where you can follow us along all year. This 333-page journal gives you extra insight and resources for each week, and also provides space for you to keep your notes. Another way to support the podcast is to purchase the Fairy Tales for Reparenting series, volumes 1 through 3. This collection organizes famous and obscure fairy tales from around the world into the 3 phases of the hero's journey. While you might think that fairy tales are for kids, I'd like to challenge you. These stories contain profound truths and lessons carried down over millennia that we can use in our reparenting journey. It's a fun way to reconnect with your inner child. Each volume comprises 10 fairy tales. They include an analysis section to help you dive deeper into the message, as well as journal prompts and space to reflect on the story's meaning in your life. Lastly, you can also support the project by taking a paid Patreon subscription, by purchasing the books on the website, or by donating via Buy Me a Coffee. You can find all this information on the Support Us section of the website. So now, with these announcements out of the way, let's dive into today's practice. Today we're listening to a portion of a video by Nero entitled, How Your Lack of Trust is Destroying Your Wealth, Love, and Career. Just as a reminder, we are in March and the theme is building self-trust and confidence. We're in week 4. And the theme for this week is trusting your intuition. Now, we're only listening to a portion of this video, so I encourage you to check out the link in the show notes to listen to it in its entirety. He has many other videos available on similar topics, and he has an excellent way of putting things together and explaining how trust is really blocking you on so many levels. And when you're in the process of reparenting, it's normally because you've lacked experiences of sufficient trust in order to benefit from connection that is nurturing and helping move you forward. And so I've selected him today because I, again, want to expose you guys to a new resource, a new way of seeing things. And this talk here is directly going to open the gates to your understanding of why you are stuck and how to get unstuck, how to begin to let loose and to trust the universe and the process of your growth. So without further ado, here's Nero Knowledge.
Trust issues are at the core of your inability to materialize reality. Now, I don't think there's a single human being on this planet that has never had their trust broken at one point, which means if you're unaware of the instances to which your trust has been broken, you're going to be unaware about how those situations are still taking place on a subconscious level, preventing your ability to move forward. So that's what we're going to get into in this video. As you can see, trust, love. It ain't a video on love and SP. I know people probably came here thinking we ain't doing that. You can see love, right? Lock for security, because that's trust. You know, trust in hand with love. It's good though, isn't it? AJ?
It's alright. I still think
Who
that's
needs
easier.
enemies with friends like this? So let's get into it.
Looks like Espen.
Now, as usual, make sure you take notes and leave them in the comments. I've been thinking about this video for about 3 weeks. And like I said, as an individual that's hired by a certain type of person, it's consistent that each and every single one of us have had instances in life to which our trust was broken, we were betrayed, disappointed, and things collapsed. And whether you realize this or not, all of those instances are taking place within your subconscious, because of course your subconscious mind is completely irrational and it's void of the time-space constraint. Time doesn't exist there. So even if your trust was broken a couple years ago, I can guarantee you, nigga, it's still playing in the back of your subconscious mind, which is then unfolding and leading to the materialization of your desired reality. And as I always say, spirituality without the ability to control your reality is nothing but vanity. So, I'm so excited for this video. I'm so excited. Let me show you. Now, like I said, I've been really kind of ruminating on this video for quite some time, for the mere fact that there's a lot of components to this. right? And it was actually triggered by me reading one book that actually has nothing to do. I've read hundreds of books in the realm of manifestation, the esoteric, the occult, metaphysics, so on and so forth, and ancient spiritual texts. I was actually reading the Mahabharata the other day. Now, I was reading a book by Stephen Covey. Is his name Stephen Covey? I think so. I'm not sure. But he has a book called The Speed of Trust. And it's a book about trust in particular. This has nothing to do with metaphysics. The book is more or less a business book, but I was able to extrapolate it based upon the metaphysical knowledge that I have and interlink with other sections, because when I get into this, you're going to see. Now, like I said, this exists at the root of everything that we seek to materialize into existence. If you're an individual that wants to manifest more love, a relationship, or you just want to fuck around, or you want to manifest more money, a position in your career, a promotion in your career, a certain opportunity, or more money in your business, or better performance, or whatever it is that you want to do. If you have an element of mistrust within you, then those situations are going to be things that almost are being repelled without you even realizing. And let me show you why. Let me show you why. Now, you have to understand one thing in particular. Is it mistrust or distrust? Who gives a fuck anyways? Mistrust itself is the source of your separation. Because think about it, opportunities collapse, people betray, things go wrong. Now, let's actually understand what trust is. Trust in of itself is nothing more than confidence. If you have trust in somebody, it's confidence. That's what it really is. If you trust somebody with your life, you have full confidence that this individual will do the right thing. If you trust somebody, you have confidence in their ability to maintain that relationship or the transparency of whatever it is that's going on. Like I said, extrapolate this beyond a romantic context, because typically when we talk about trust, people's minds have this unfortunate tendency to narrow it. But these things, nothing's compartmentalized in the mind. Trust in of itself is confidence. Mistrust is a separation, because confidence in of itself eventually turns into conviction. Conviction is what is etymologically spoken about in the Bible when we're talking about the concept of faith. It says, faith moveth mountains. Faith comes from the etymological origins of the word fides. Fides literally means confidence in Latin. More specifically, it's conviction. Now, mistrust is the opposite of having that. Mistrust is actually doubt. And the thing about doubt and faith is that doubt and faith are two sides of the same coin. Your ability to align yourself with confidence behind whatever it is that you want is the only way that you're going to get it. Now, believe it or not, there's a whole bunch of people that will never ever watch a fucking manifestation video in their life. They'll never even watch a video on metaphysics or reality creation or the esoteric concepts, but they're able to materialize what it is that they want. And it's because at their base, on a metaphysical level, they have confidence. And that's because confidence in and of itself strengthens whatever is backing it. Confidence in of itself enhances the strength of the frequency that you're emitting to the universe. Your frequency in particular is like a unique signature code that aligns you and corresponds with a particular outcome. If you want to attain a certain outcome in reality, you shouldn't seek to attain that thing. Most people play the game backwards. We think to ourselves, I want more money, instead of thinking, how can I make more money want me? And the only way that you can make more money want you is if you become in resonance with the frequency of more money, the internal state, the mental attitude, the beliefs, the expectations, the reactions, the convictions, the perception, the focus and attention, so on and so forth. You have to become aligned with that. Mistrust in of itself is the opposite of confidence, because you have to understand one thing in particular. It's your ability to align yourself with the infinite intelligence. Some people may refer to that as God, Allah, Yahweh, Jehovah, so on and so forth, right? But your ability to align yourself with the infinite intelligence rests on one thing. If you examine any spiritual master, the base of whatever they did was confidence, was faith. And that is the power, that's the true source of alchemy, confidence, conviction. But mistrust is the opposite of that. So mistrust is almost confidence in reality, which is limitation. See, the thing about mistrust is that it separates you from your capability of creating whatever it is that you want, because confidence in of itself is faith in the infinite, but mistrust is faith in the finite. And that's a bar, write that down. And once you begin to have faith in the finite or limitation or the third dimensional realm, and whatever it has the capability of convincing you of is your limitation or something that doesn't exist, then that is ultimately what you're going to create and perpetuate. Because think about it, mistrust in of itself goes just beyond relationships. But like I said, nothing's compartmentalized in the mind. Who would have thought an instance to which a friend broke your trust in the past would now affect your ability to close business deals? Who would think that your friend or a family member breaking your trust would affect your ability to get into relationships? Now that one is a bit more obvious, right? But who would have thought that somebody breaking your trust or somebody betraying you would then affect your ability to materialize a particular outcome? Nobody would have ever thought that. But mistrust is your source of separation. Because, like I said, mistrust is confidence in limitation. Mistrust is confidence in limitation. Say it with me. Mistrust is confidence in limitation. Now, I'd like to ask you a question. Put your answer in the comment. Do you trust God? Do you trust the universe? Now, most people's tendency, if you ask many believers, do they trust God? They'd say yes, but they don't trust themselves, which is a direct contradiction. You are the materialization of God. How can many believers are actually disbelievers? whether they realize this or not. Now, of course, I'm not religious. I'm just an individual that focuses on the esoteric. Esoteric coming from the Greek word esoterikos, referring to the inner, exoterikos, referring to the outer, like an exoskeleton is the outer side of things, which is more institutional, organized, systematic religion, so on and so forth. I look for the metaphysical wisdom. Hence, I've read the Bible, the Nag Hammadi text, the Apocrypha. I read the Quran, the Mahabharata, like I said, the Tao Te Ching, so on and so forth, and various Buddhist scriptures. But to go back to what I was saying, we all have this mistrust towards life within us. And unfortunately, the way that you look at life is the way life looks at you, because you and life are one. You and reality are one. People seek to control reality when they have no ability to control themselves. That's a contradiction. If reality is a reflection of an aspect of your consciousness, then your ability to trust reality is a reflection of your ability to trust yourself. And the truth of the matter is, we don't have any trust. Why the fuck would we? Think about this, especially if you've been through certain situations in life. You grew up, you were raised by a particular type of person, you grew up in a certain type of environment. Mistrust is woven into the fabric of our being as a defense mechanism, but it's also a defense mechanism for your ability to maintain your desired reality. So write that down. Think about it. Mistrust is what we use to protect ourselves, even from a point of evolutionary psychology. Nigga, if you heard a shh in the bush, you'd be gone because you don't know what that is. And it's better you take the chance of running away than sticking around to see what that is in that bush. This is not only wired into you from a point of evolutionary psychology, your basal ganglia is operating from this whether you realize this or not. But then even in a social context, when most of us are raised in certain circumstances, if you're in the ends, you're distrust of everyone. Think about this. This is really fucked up, and I'll be real. As a fellow black person, because of the way I've been cultivated in the environment I do, and we all see it as black guys, whenever you see another black guy, you're always just staring each other down like, who is this? Like you're trying to figure him out. It's this element of mistrust that has been woven into us. And that is only a very small part of it. That begins to extrapolate to other aspects of our life. If you have mistrust in one element of your life, I promise you it's going to have a ripple effect throughout other instances of your life. To such a point, even the things that you want to materialize, you don't actually trust you're going to make more money. You don't actually trust you're going to get into that relationship that you want to materialize. You don't trust that business deal to go the way that you want. You enter these things, whether you realize this or not, maybe on a conscious level, but more so on a subconscious level, with an element that this isn't going to happen the way that I want it to. And how could you not? Mistrust is the basis of your being. Opportunities have collapsed, people have betrayed you, things have gone wrong. And the thing about mistrust is that it's a defense mechanism, not only for protecting our feelings, but it's a defense mechanism for our quite literal safety. But mistrust being something that protects you from danger, it's also keeping you away from materializing your desired reality. And I really need you to understand this. Mistrust is the source of your separation. Mistrust is faith or confidence or conviction in limitation or things going wrong associated with the third dimensional realm. And if you have more conviction in the third dimensional realm, i.e. limitation, then you are going to be limited. Trust in of itself is confidence aligned with the infinite, which then strengthens the frequency of whatever it is that you're projecting with.
Hey guys, welcome back. Now, this is an excellent video where he dives directly into why and how your lack of trust or trust issues are keeping you stuck. These are the same issues that we and everyone else on earth faces. Those in reparenting process and those just everyone. It's not something that you can escape. Trust is your ability to relax, to release the body armoring that we discussed this week in the Reading Together videos. Having trust in the process of reparenting, having trust that things can get better, having trust that you are not alone in the universe, as we discussed in the Kabbalion last week. There is no one who is fatherless nor motherless in the universe. But this trust normally requires us to have some kind of evidence. And so it's your responsibility to begin crafting and designing your life in a way that reinforces and moves you forward towards a stronger sense of trust in yourself, in God, in the universe, and possibilities for your life. Only then will you be able to truly benefit from alignment with your intuition, the higher self, the mother-father mind. That's what it takes. It takes your trust in that intuition, the trust in the fact that you are supported by the universe and that people are not out to hurt you. The world is a mirror of our internal state, and so our lack of trust will continue to cause disturbances on the external life. So begin to change that, we must first go inward. And so as we go into the journal reflections for today, number 1, where in your life do you lack trust the most? And how does that appear in your life? And number 2, what are the main reasons or justifications you give yourself for this lack of trust? And number 4, what experiences, situations, or people could work as objects to help you improve your sense of trust? What do you need from yourself, from the universe, from others, from life, in order to feel more trusting? That's it for today. As always, thanks for being here. Take care of yourself, and please do be well. Welcome back. Now, this is the third and final section of the daily podcast. This is your silent meditation. Please find a place where you can be comfortable and undisturbed, where you can relax and spend some time with yourself for the next 10 minutes. You can choose to be sitting, standing, lying down, or in whatever position makes you most comfortable today. Just take some time to listen to yourself. Next, be sure that you're taking time to be with your breath and to connect more fully with your body. Don't be disturbed or overwhelmed by your thoughts. Simply allow them to pass. Just observe them. Do not engage with your thoughts. Only be mindful of them passing, as if they are leaves drifting down top river. Use this time to connect with yourself. Whatever time of day you are listening to this, namaste.